Imagine you're deciding between two big options, studying abroad for a year or staying closer to home to finish your degree. Both options sound exciting, but also scary. Decisions like these shape our lives. But even small ones, what to eat for dinner, or whether to study or hang out with friends, can feel like a struggle. Why is that? How we make decisions is influenced by something called loss aversion. We tend to hate losing more than we love winning. For example, finding 20 euros is nice, but losing 20 feels way worse. This explains why we often fear making risky decisions, because of the possibility of loss that weighs heavier than the chance of gain. Even the way a choice is framed can change how we decide. If I told you treatment has a 90% survival rate, you would feel optimistic. But if I said it has a 10% chance of failure, you might think twice. Same info, different reaction. Reframing a situation, focusing on what you gain rather than what you might lose, can make a huge difference in the choice we make. Here's another tricky thing. Our brains love shortcuts. We use heuristics, mental shortcuts that help simplify decisions, but they don't always lead to the best choices. Take the representativeness heuristic. You might assume someone who wears glasses is smarter, just because they fit the stereotype, even though it's not always true. Or the availability heuristic. If you've just seen a car accident, you might think driving is super dangerous, because the event is fresh in your mind, even though, statistically, it might not be. There are also two ways our brains make decisions, fast and slow. Fast decisions are driven by emotions and instinct, like when you decide to go out for a pizza because it sounds good. Slow decisions are more analytical, like when you carefully plan a budget. Both systems have their own place, but you need to know when to use each. So, how can you make better decisions? One key is knowing where to aim for the best, not the right or wrong one. Sometimes there isn't a clear-cut answer. Instead of stressing out about whether you're making the perfect choice, focus on what's the best for you under the circumstances. You don't always need to wait for the perfect moment or every piece of information. Sometimes, good enough is exactly what you need. That's where maximizing and satisficing come in. Maximizers wait for the perfect conditions, while satisficers settle for good enough options. Both strategies have their place. The key is knowing when to act fast and when it's worth waiting for more facts. And don't forget, overthinking can lead to decision paralysis, where you have too many options and struggle to choose at all. It's also really important to consider your emotions. How you feel can have an impact on your choices. When you're happy, you might make more impulsive or risky decisions, while being sad or anxious can make you more cautious. Balance your emotional and logical sides. Some people tend to be more emotionally driven, while others are more rational. If you're naturally emotional, try to focus on facts. If you're highly analytical, take a moment to check in with your feelings. This balance will help you make smarter decisions. Awareness of groupthink is also crucial. This happens when you make a decision just to fit in with the group or avoid conflict, even though it's not what you really want. Maybe you have agreed to a plan with friends you weren't that excited about, just to get along with the majority. To avoid this, check in with yourself and make sure you're choosing based on what you believe, not what others expect. So, how can we make smarter decisions? Here, 5 quick steps. Slow down and clear your mind. Take a break to get perspective. Identify what you really want to achieve. What are your goals? Get the facts. Don't rely on assumptions. Check reliable sources. Be aware of your biases and emotions. What could be influencing your thinking? Choose the best option for you right now, not the right one. Remember, it's about what fits your values and needs. And speaking of values, they are your guiding principles in decision making. If you're deciding whether to study abroad or stay close to home, ask yourself, what matters most to me right now? Is it adventure, personal growth, or staying connected to family? Let your values guide you. Because when a decision aligns with your values, it's easier to live with. Here's a trick I use to avoid rushing decisions. The 3 days in a drawer technique. After making a choice, I set it aside for 3 days. When I come back to it, I see things with fresh eyes and spot details I missed before. Lastly, don't forget that other people's perspective matter too. We all have blind spots, and seeking outside opinions can help us make more informed decisions. But remember, ultimately, you are the one who has to live with your choice, so don't let groupthink take over. So, decision making is complex, but it's not about finding the perfect solution. It's about making the best choice with the information, values, and emotions you have at the moment. Whether it's a small decision or a life-changing one, don't get stuck overthinking. Commit to your choice, learn from it, and keep moving forward. What is the next big decision you need to make? Just remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making the decision you can live with and that fits you. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.